subscribe to our channel on YouTube. Check us out on Facebook. Hit that like button, hit the notification bell so you'll be notified whenever we post more videos, and follow along and keep up with us as we go through all of the journeys that we go through in life. Today I wanted to give you all a little bit of an update. It has been almost 6 months since we installed our solar system, our solar panels. Got the solar panels actually right over my left-hand shoulder. Wanted to share some information, got some exciting information to give you if you're thinking about possibly getting a solar system for your house. I wanted to tell you some of the positives and negatives that we've had with ours. I was going to start off and brought some paperwork with me to tell you about our bills and the difference that it's made since we installed our solar system. So in November of 2022, we had our solar system installed. Our usage for the month of November was 983 kilowatt hours of electricity. Compared to the previous year, we had 1,218 kilowatt hours of electricity, and our bill was $113.98 is how much we would have to pay for, or which we paid for our electric for that month. For December, after we had our solar systems installed part of the month, if y'all remember, December, January, February weather wasn't that great. A lot of cloudy days, a lot of rainy days, a lot of clouds. Clouds, of course, make a difference. Short days also. The shortest days of the year fall in December, January, I think. So that's the shortest days of the year, so you don't get a lot of sunlight. But in December, we used 686 kilowatt hours of electricity. This is the amount of electricity we used from the power grid. Comparably, the previous year, we used 1,005 kilowatt hours for a cost of $87.60. January, not much of a change. We used 601 kilowatt hours of electricity. However, that is about half of what we used the previous year of 1,184 kilowatt hours for a total, and our bill for that month was $88.58. We also received a check that month from our cooperative energy company. So the way our solar system works for us is in North Mississippi, here where we live, all of the electric utility companies, cooperatives in Mississippi has an agreement to purchase their energy from the cooperative energy system. Or I said all. There is one exception. There's one power company cooperative that, and I think it's TVA, that buys their energy from Tallahatchie Valley power system grid. So they are the one exception. All of the other community cooperatives are required to buy their electricity through the cooperative energy agency that's set up in Mississippi, and that's where our power comes from. Part of that agreement is that like our local, we use Coahoma Electric Power, and they cannot purchase energy or electricity from anybody but the community or the cooperative energy company. So in order for us to sell them our energy back that we overproduce from our solar panels, they actually have to, or it has to be bought by the cooperative energy company, and they have to send us a check. So we don't get a reduction in our bill, we get a check back. And it has to be $25 or they won't even write the check. The exception is at the end of the year, they will send us a check for the total amount that they owe to close out the books for 1 year to the next. So that's why we got a check for $12.42 in January, because they closed out their year, end of the year, and that is how much we had built up. The check that they sent us was for $12.42 in January, and they paid us for 276 kilowatt hours of electricity. Another little lesson that I want to give you is, in case you don't know, you can look it up online, but what is a kilowatt hour of electricity? So the way that I understand it, the way that it's been explained to me, and I will pass on to you, and again, check me if I'm wrong, but a kilowatt hour of electricity is the amount of electricity that would be used based off of the number of watts that you are using. So if you take a 60-watt light bulb and you burn it, all day long, that would be 24 times the 60-watt rate. So that would be whatever 24, or let me use an easier number, 10. So you take a 60-watt light bulb and you burn it for 10 hours. That would be 0.60 kilowatt hours of electricity, if I understand that correctly. In other words, if you're using 1,000 watts of electricity, in your house, and you go for 24 hours, then you would have used 24 kilowatt hours of electricity. And I hope that was an easy way to explain it. But moving right along, like I said, in January we got a check back for $12.42. February we use our usage from the power company, from Kahoma Electric, was 465 kilowatt hours of electricity, as compared to 974 kilowatt hours the previous year. Our cost that we paid the electric company was $67.78, and we got a check back in February for $38.61, which is what they paid us for 858 kilowatt hours of electricity that we produced and sent back to the power grid. For March, our March usage was 224 kilowatt hours. Comparably, in March of last year, March of 2022, we used 848 kilowatt hours. Our electric bill that we owed to Kahoma Electric this month for the month of March, was $44.30, and we have not yet received a check. I think normally they do the checks on the 23rd of the month and get them sent out, so we'll probably be getting a check here before very long. I was trying to read on the check and see the invoice date. Yeah, so the invoice date is March the 23rd, so they would have an invoice date of April the 23rd. No, that's 23. March the 8th. So April the 8th. So we'll probably be getting a check here in a couple of days. I'm guessing from the Cooperative Energy Company for however much energy we produced in the month of March. And of course, we haven't got our April bill yet. Another thing that I wanted to share with you, one of the reasons that we're not making a lot of money off of our solar system is, or one of the reasons that it's not a huge difference, is because when we make more electricity than we use and send it back to the power grid, they pay us 4.5 cents a kilowatt hour, where that they charge us whenever we buy electricity from the grid. We pay 11.5 cents per kilowatt hour. So kind of what that means is, and the way that what we've learned is that it's cheaper to use it than it is to give it back to them and then have to get it back from them later. So what that means for us is that in the daytime, whenever the sun's shining, is when you want to use things that use a lot of energy. So if you're going to cook something in the oven, it's better off to cook it before the sun goes down than it is after the sun goes down. Especially with washing and drying clothes. Clothes dryer is uses a lot of electricity. So if you're going to wash clothes, you're going to want to wash clothes in the daytime when the sun's shining, especially if you're going to dry them, because the dryer is what really uses a lot of energy. But the main energy using appliances that I've found in our house are the stove, the oven, microwave, dryer, hair dryer, things like that. Electric heaters use pretty good bit of electricity. And so, like I say, if you're planning on washing clothes, do it on a day when the sun's shining, not on a day when it's cloudy, which our solar panels actually do generate electricity whenever the sun is shining. So whenever it's cloudy, there is sun and solar energy that gets through. It's just not as much. So the other thing to think about is, we have 24 panels that came with our electric system, and in peak sunshine hitting our panels middle of the day, we can generate upwards of 9,000 kilowatts of electricity. So if you thought about that over, for an hour, if we continue, that's 9 kilowatts an hour. So there's lots of days that we generate over 60 kilowatt hours of electricity. You deduct out what we use in the daytime and then add in what we buy back from the company at night, or when it's dark, or when we're not generating as much electricity. And you can see how it would equal out a whole lot better if we actually got 11.5 cents a kilowatt hour for that we sold, which is the same. But you got to understand that the power company, Home Electric's got to make money. They have expense. They have the expense of running the lines and the meters and paying their employees and keeping the electricity on and all of that good stuff. So it kind of works out. Another little reminder for you that in case y'all don't remember, we bought our power system and we do have battery backup. So usually the way that it works, in the first thing in the morning when the sun comes up and starts hitting our solar panels, the majority of that electricity, or a good portion of that electricity, goes to recharge our solar batteries, or our solar system batteries, and to power our house. And then later on, after a couple hours, usually it takes a couple, 2 or 3 hours to charge our batteries back up to 100%. And then all of that energy, less whatever we're using in the house, goes back to the grid. So I'm anticipating, excited that as we have longer days and the sun shines longer, we have more sunny weather, that the amount of money that we're paying out for electricity is going to be less, and the checks that we're going to be getting back is actually going to be more. And so hopefully it'll a little bit more even out. Didn't really go into this thinking that, that it was going to be a free ride. The sales point on it is that, okay, you have a $200 a month electric bill, we'll put you in solar panels, they'll cost you $200 a month, and you'll trade your electric bill for paying for the solar system. Well, I knew that it wouldn't equal out the same, but I went into this knowing that. So that's something that you got to take into consideration if you're planning on having a solar system. And now for the exciting news that I get to tell you about if you're thinking about getting a solar system and going with a solar power system. So whenever we bought our solar system and had it installed in 2022, there was a tax credit, residential energy tax savings. So if you put in an energy efficient product or a sustainability product, solar panels, wind turbine, something like that, you can get a tax credit and at the time in 2022, the tax credit was 26% of the cost of the system. So what that means is that depending on how much you pay in taxes, you cannot get back more than you actually pay in, but you can get a tax credit up to 26% of the cost of the system. I don't know if I mentioned this before or not, but our system costs roughly $61,500. So 26% of that equaled out to right at $16,000, a little less than $16,000. I think it was $15,900. Problem is that the amount of taxes that we paid in last year, because we just did our taxes a couple of months ago, but the amount that we paid in taxes was less than the 26%. So we didn't pay in almost $16,000 in taxes. But it is a carry forward feature so that you can carry that credit forward into the next year. And in 2022, when we had our system installed, the program was going to go through 2023, and it was going to end December the 31st of 2023. So it was scheduled to end at the end of this year. The exciting news is that it has been extended, and they actually extended the credit back up to 30%. So if you want to go and buy a solar system or install a solar system to power your house, you can get a 30% tax credit, and you can do that and use the credit until it's gone up until 2033. So it's going to be a credit out there from the IRS for the next 10 years. So they extended the program for another 10 years. The exciting thing for me was that basically gave us an extra $5,000. The way that worked is that we paid in a little over $5,000, almost $6,000 in federal taxes this year. So this year our credit was $5,000, almost $6,000 credit. If you figured, like I said, that the 26% of the cost of our system was almost $16,000. So we still have $10,000 that's hanging out there like a little piece of fruit hanging on the bottom of a tree that we could get a credit for. And we was going to, of course, anticipating that we would pay in about $6,000 in taxes this year. and get that back as a credit for the year of 2023, we was still going to be losing out on $4,000 or $5,000 in tax credits, you know, that for the cost of our system. So we wasn't going to get the full benefit of the 26%. Well, what this change that the IRS just did means is that not only are we going to get to claim our solar system as a tax credit for the year of 2023, we're also going to get to claim it for the year of 2024. And so we will get the full benefit of the entire roughly, and actually it's 30% instead of 26%. So we will even get, I think that bumps it up to like $18,000. So we basically got an additional $6,000 benefit off of it with the IRS making that change that they made. So that's really exciting news. And enough rambling, because by now everybody's probably got completely bored with listening to me talk. I'm going to post a couple of things on there so that you can see some information from the IRS that shows where they extended that credit. So if you're thinking about getting a solar system, I forgot to tell you the disclaimer at the beginning that we are not selling solar systems. Do not call me to buy a solar system. I don't install solar power systems. I don't sell solar power systems. We actually bought our solar system from Solar South, based out of Hattiesburg, Mississippi. It's a great company. Look them up online. If you're interested in a solar system and you want to give them a call, please do. I won't get anything from them for you calling them. You don't even have to mention my name, but it is a really good group of people that work for Solar South, and you know, they take really good care of you, and I'm very pleased with the system that we have in place. But I do not get anything for selling solar systems, and do not even recommend it for you. It's a decision that you've got to make on your own. You've got to decide for yourself if it's something that's right for you. Our thought process was that it was a good idea for us, for not only the tax credit that we would get, the issue of being reliant on the solar grid was another reason that we went with a solar system to power our house. That actually came into play back in the winter. We had some, bad weather. We lost power. Very simply walked outside in the garage, flipped a switch, and we had power back. Potentially, we could literally cut our power off that we're getting from the grid and still have electricity. The things that we wouldn't be able to run, we wouldn't be able to run our clothes dryer, we wouldn't be able to run our microwave, we wouldn't be able to run our stove, or actually we could potentially run those in the daytime when the sun's shining, but we wouldn't be able to at night. But we could, we would have power off of our battery backup in our solar system alone. Air conditioned HVAC units not going to run off of it, or not for a very long time, and that's part of the issue. We have limited things in our house that are connected to the solar battery backup that we can turn on in the event that we have a power failure from the grid, but it's really nice having lights that you can flip a switch and turn on when the power goes out and it's dark outside. One of the other selling factors for us was that the price of everything is going up, the price of energy is going up, the price of electricity is going to go up. It is. And so think about, right now we're paying 11.5 cents a kilowatt hour. What if next year we're paying 25 cents a kilowatt hour, or 5 years from now we're paying 25 cents a kilowatt hour? The energy that we're saving, that we're not using, is going to be even more valuable if the price of electricity goes up. So that's the other reasoning behind that. But again, enough rambling. Thank y'all for taking the time to watch my video. I do appreciate it. Please be sure and check us out on Facebook. Please subscribe to us on YouTube. Be sure and check out our website. We actually have a website, northmsoutdoors.com. There's some interesting stuff on there. If more people will start checking out our website, I'll start putting some more stuff on there. Hopefully someday we're going to put merchandise on there. But thank you for watching. Have a good one, and see you on the next video.